Today's reading is Dio Brando from the Sexypedia Wiki. Spoilers ahead! This article contains major spoilers about this sexy person and/or their source material. Please proceed with caution. Dio Brando is one of the main antagonists in the series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Amongst the fandom, he is considered to be one of the most popular characters within the series. While he was once on the forbidden page for being conventionally attractive, he is a pretty well-known sexy man within the JJBA fandom and fits many of the tropes on this wiki. His class is Tiamat, his aliases include Dio, Dio Brando, and Lord Dio, and his source is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Basic information. Dio Brando, or Dio Brando, known as Dio from Stardust Crusaders onwards, is the main antagonist in the original universe of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, featured primarily as the main antagonist in Phantom Blood and Stardust Crusaders, and a posthumous key antagonist in Stone Ocean. Araki designed Dio Brando to be a Bishonen, a beautiful, ethereal boy, in the tradition of stylish shonen manga rivals. From the start, Dio was designed to surpass Jonathan Joestar in every way, especially in appearance. His visual concept and appearance was directly inspired by foreign idols such as pop stars, supermodels, and actors, particularly known for their beautiful features and ethereal beauty. Depicting Dio as someone who always surpasses Jonathan was a critically important point in Part 1. The first thing Araki thought of was to create a character who embodied the attractiveness of evil. There's been a tradition of shonen manga featuring attractive villains since the old days, such as Mitsuru Hanagata rivaling Hyuma Hoshi in Star of the Giants. Now about Dio's visual design. He was created as a Bishonen, a very beautiful, handsome boy. He's tall, around 185 centimeters, or 6'1" for anyone who doesn't want to look it up, and has a sexy body. To contrast with Jonathan's black hair, Araki made his hair blonde and his eyes green. Like traditional villains, his eyes are slightly slanted upward, and when he smiles, dimples and fangs appear. He's popular with girls, but rather than loving someone himself, he has a more controlling nature. After becoming a vampire and later a stand user, Dio has gathered around him many minions and is responsible for many major events of the series. From the death of Jonathan Joestar to the Joestar family's sudden acquisition of stand power, and his legacy persists throughout the series. Dio is the father of Giorno Giovanna, the main protagonist of Golden Wind, as well as a handful of other illegitimate offspring. More information can be found on the JoJo Wiki. Archetypes. All-powerful. While the game Eyes of Heaven is not canon, in it, Dio is able to go through with his plan of obtaining heaven and gains the ultimate stand, the world over heaven. His stand is then able to rewrite reality. He also goes through a transformation during this and turns into his ultimate form, known as Heaven Ascension Dio. Angst. Dio grew up extremely poor, and him and his mother were abused by his alcoholic father. His mother, being the only person he's ever loved, died when he was a child, and he blames his father for her death, which is one of the reasons why he later kills him. Bait. He was designed to be attractive, and canonically uses this as a form of manipulation/seduction in Stardust Crusaders. He is stated by several characters in the series to be charismatic, youthful-looking, and beautiful. Araki confirmed he designed Dio as a Bishonen, a term that refers to boys with elegant, often feminine features. His appearance was inspired by beautiful foreign idols such as singers, supermodels, and pop idols. Araki also stated that Dio was created to embody the attractiveness of evil. British. Dio grew up in Victorian England. In the English dub of Phantom Blood, he does have a vague British accent, but it's later ditched in Stardust Crusaders. However, him having a British accent does not seem to boost his overall sexiness, as most fans tend to forget that he is actually British. Chronokinetic. Perhaps one of, if not the most recognizable example of this superpower. During Stardust Crusaders, his stand the world has the power to freeze everything but himself in time for 5 and later 9 seconds. During this time, Dio will often use various objects so that when time starts again, his targets wind up dead or in serious pain. He has even used the world to mess with Polnareff by stopping time repeatedly whenever he climbs the stairs and putting him back at the bottom. Criminal. Dio's crime list is practically endless. He's been committing crimes ever since he was a child. An extensive list of his crimes can be found on the Villains Wiki. Dilf. He's over 100 years old and has 4 illegitimate children. Distinctive voice. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he is known for being very charismatic, as stated by one of the characters that his voice alone was enough to bring him peace. Dio is known to have a very memorable voice due to Takahito Koyasu's outstanding performance in the anime. While Patrick Seitz also does an amazing English dub for Dio, when fans typically describe Dio's voice as hot, they are typically referring to Takahito Koyasu's performance. Distinctive speech patterns. refers to himself in the third person, commonly says I, Dio, when referring to himself. Dominating. Dio is known to be very power-hungry and uses various means such as manipulation and violence to maintain a position of power. He exerts a lot of control over the enemy stand users and Stardust Crusaders. Egotistical. Dio is incredibly selfish and only cares about his own interests/goals. He shows a severe lack of empathy and will use anybody as a means for reaching his goals. Once he becomes a vampire, he views himself as above humanity. Gay. It is stated by Hirohiko Araki in an interview that Dio is bisexual. Hot-headed. He loses his shit when he is defeated by the Joestars. However, unlike the trope, he will in fact go for the kill. Intelligence. As a human, he was at the top of his classes and was studying to be a lawyer. He is also shown to think quickly in fights and is able to counter attacks. Knife murder. He's killed so many people using various methods. In Phantom Blood, if George Joestar I did not intervene, Dio did pull a knife after Jonathan had beat him so hard he cried. In Stardust Crusaders, he stops time and throws several knives in an attempt to kill Jotaro. Marked canon/fanon divergence. In an interview, Hirohiko Araki stated that Dio can never fully love someone. Dio has also never met any of his children. However, there is a fandom AU known as Mudad that depicts Dio loving and caring for his children. In several fanworks, it is usually only Giorno, despite him having 3 other kids. Monster features/fangs. Fangs, due to being a vampire. Non-human/undead. He's a vampire. Obscured face. Throughout most of Stardust Crusaders, Dio's face is obscured by shadow and only revealed at the end of the part. One-winged angel. During the fight against Jotaro, he drinks Joseph's blood and turns into High Dio, a term commonly used on the Japanese side of the fandom to describe his powered-up state. Power. Dio has vampiric abilities as well as a stand, the world. Many of the characters consider his stand to be the most powerful as it can stop time. Quotable catchphrases. You thought your first kiss would be with Jojo, but it was I, Dio. Oh, you're approaching me. Refined villain. Dio's favorite drink is red wine. He's also seen reading books and discussing philosophy in his free time. Religious imagery. His name in Italian means God. In the events of Stone Ocean, he befriends a Catholic priest in training and tells him about his plan of obtaining heaven. In the English dub of Phantom Blood, after taking revenge on Joseph as a newly born vampire, he claims that he is a god in everything but name, which is highly ironic considering the meaning of his name. Rival. Dio had a rivalry with his adoptive brother, Jonathan Joestar. They were enemies, but he respected him as an adversary and even proposed to grant him and his lover eternal life when he was near death. When he was reawakened 100 years later, he would have to face the remaining Joestar family, but he had no respect for them and only seeks to exterminate them quickly and efficiently. Tall. When he steals Jonathan's body, he is 195 centimeters tall, or approximately 6'5". Theme song. He has several themes in the OST. Tongue imagery. Few too many close-up shots of him licking his lips or something along the lines of that. JoJo's freaky adventure. Traitor. Dio was not a twist villain, but he had faked being friends with his adoptive brother for 7 years after failing to destroy him mentally as kids. He would instead slowly poison their father in order to inherit his fortunes. Villain. While he doesn't show up in every part of the series, Dio is considered the main antagonist of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure due to being the first, and his legacy causing many future events. Subverted tropes. Fanon splintering. The series rebooted with Part 7, known as Steel Ball Run, and introduced Dio Brando, a canonical counterpart to Dio Brando. There are several fanworks of Dio interacting with his counterpart, Diego Brando. Pale twink. He is pale, but by no means is he considered a twink. Later depictions of Dio, such as in Stone Ocean, could be considered a twunk. Parental issues. Dio's father was alcoholic and abusive. He also did not respect his mother at all, which was one of the only people he ever loved, and would sell all of her belongings just to buy more booze. And after he had nothing more to sell, he would tell Dio to make money for him. Dio hated his father and spat on his grave after his death. Upper class. While he originally was not upper class, he was adopted into the upper class Joestar family after his father died. Well-dressed. While his outfit in Stardust Crusaders doesn't fall under any of the well-dressed categories, it is seen as iconic within the fandom.